Hey, what's up everybody, Jedi here. Welcome back to another video. Today we are gonna test out these two brand new and old build of the Jeep of the two-door Jeep JKs. But it's a little bit of a twist. You might be saying, what's the difference? They have two gas engines. They're built. One's built for rock crawling dedication, and one's built for overlanding and rock crawling. No. Well, that one is another side project that I have. But we're focusing on these two main Jeeps. Now, these two main Jeeps, one is gas, one is diesel. Now, let's start with the diesel. This is a diesel two-door JK that you can build on offer Outlaws, but it's a bit more costful than the other JK, and it's a little bit more difficult to run. By standards, I mean, well, you need to tune your transmission for the actual engine to, first of all, run with the transmission. Second of all, you need to have a pretty solid build. You can't just put you can put a diesel willy-nilly, but it has to be a pretty powerful diesel, because if you don't have enough power for it, then it's gonna be really like lazy diesel. You're gonna have an engine that doesn't pull a vehicle. Now, we're gonna both test them out in this area. Now, this is a pretty difficult area. The rest of them are pretty easy, except for the mountain top, which is the last area that we're gonna test out these Jeeps. One has a little bit more of a easier fender travel, and they have both of them have same front bumper, but they have different accessories. This one has 40-inch Pitbull tires on this one. The other has 35 Falcons. This one has a diesel. The other one has a gas engine. They're both a manual Jeep, and they both run the same setup: slider pedal, brake pedal. But it's a little bit more of a different story when you go off-roading. Now, we're gonna test it out on these slick rocks. Now, the diesel obviously is gonna win some of the challenges, because this one, first of all, it's climbing. Now, 40-inch tires are pretty heavy tires, and by standards, I mean pretty heavy tires. As you can see, but they have their advantages. For example, when we're going up like these rocks, you have a little bit more of a better travel site, but at the same time, you have problems because you don't have a best turning radius. You have to each time just do a U-turn, but you have to back up, go forward, back up, go forward. These two builds are almost the exact same. They both have 1500 flex and 2000 dampening. If you want to do this build, I'll leave a little side video, a little tutorial on how to build this diesel Jeep. So, as you can see, I'm riding with the diesel Jeep, and as you can see, it's struggling a little bit. By struggling, I mean that some of the bigger rocks is having a little bit of trouble, but in the tiny rocks, it's having a blast. Now, we're gonna pass it through this area, and then we're gonna do a U-turn back. Once we hit the ground, we're gonna switch to the other Jeep. And basically, this Jeep, since it has a Cummins, it has a little bit more of a better torque ratio. And by torque ratio, I mean that it can climb other like obstacles that the gas engine Jeep can't do. Plus, this one has 40-inch tires, and the other one has 35. So it's a bit of a different story, if you can say that. So okay, so that climbed it with finesse. And this Jeep has a little bit more lift under it, so obviously it's gonna have a little bit more of an advantage because the body is hitting the body is sitting a little bit farther up than the other Jeep. Plus, it has a little bit of a bigger tire, and the fenders are a little bit shorter because since this is a rock crawler, as you can see, it's gonna need a little bit more than clearing for these tires, especially since I'm running 40s with this Jeep. It's gonna need a lot of clearance. So that's why when I built this Jeep first time, I wanted it to be a rock crawler with a Cummins engine under it. And the Jeep has to sit a little bit tall for the accommodation of those tires. Now, as you can see, the Jeep is doing pretty well. And we're going to reach the end because we're going to switch to the other Jeep and see what difference can it make. Okay, so we're in the other Jeep, which is a little bit more of a smaller version of the Jeep. This one has a 2.5-inch lift with 35s under it, with a little bit more of a bulkier fender, and it has the same roof rack. Other thing, the practically is almost the whole thing is exactly the same. Axles, everything, and as you can see, the Jeep is sitting a lot shorter than the other Jeep. And this one has a gas engine. So it's a little bit more upbeat. Now, since it has a smaller wheelbase, then, well, they both have the exact same wheelbase, but I mean like wheel height. It's gonna have a little bit more trouble with the obstacles since A, it has a smaller wheelbase, and B, it doesn't have that much travel comparing to the other Jeep. As you saw, the other Jeep didn't spin its tires when it was trying to get up that ledge. So this one you have to gas a little bit and like bump the actual rocks to get up it, and that can damage the vehicle. As you can see, it's fully built and it's taking damage. Now we're gonna go through the exact same line that we went on the other one. If we had to find a and as you can see, the other this one has a little bit more power because this one has the a single turbo. The reason it runs a single turbo because the gas engine has a little bit more horsepower than torque. So if I put twin turbos like I did with my other Jeep, then it'd just be a really like twitchy vehicle when it comes to like rock crawling. And the gas engine is a little bit more easier to run because you don't have to pay $10,000 for, well, 10 dough each for the Trans and Cummins engine. You have the only $10,000 that you're gonna pay on this thing is for the transmission. So currently right now I'm going through the exact same line that I went with the other Jeep, and it's literally doing a pretty good job. But this obstacle right here, right now we're flex, we can have a little bit of a try with this. And the other one, we slipped a little bit. And this one doesn't have enough torque to pull us up, so we have to bump the actual rock to do it. So, and as you can see, the Jeep is doing fine with the obstacles, but it's a little bit more of a a little bit more of a little tough Jeep to run. It's a simple, for me, it's just a simple budget build that you can see in real life, day-to-day life. But the other build is a build that I made specifically in this game. You don't see a two-door JK with 40s under it. You just see a two-door JK with some 35s, maybe these fenders, and some Dana axles and 2-inch lift. So as you can see, both Jeeps did pretty good in the exact same runs that I'm putting it through. But who had the advantage? Put it in the comments down below, and I'll see which one had the advantage or not. If they both run the exact same way, you tell me. But I know because I built these vehicles. These vehicles are, one is for dedication on rock crawling. The other one is one more like an exploration type of vehicle that you can put through mud, through water, and through all sorts of different obstacles like rock or mud or water. And it'll do the job just fine. But just know, if you put it to really tough places, then this Jeep, if you want it to be like a dedicated rock crawler, this is not the Jeep for you. If you want it to be a dedicated rock crawler, then you should go with my other Jeep build that I'm going to show you in another episode, maybe early in the future. So I hope you all enjoy this video here, guys. My name is Gerard, and I say peace out to you guys. See you in the next one.